welcome back to Project Shira, guys. Rishiv here, another second marathon video behind the scenes, focused on in real life stuff. Yeah, second marathon supposedly focused on podcasting, but it just seems like there's no end of new things popping up that that's how life works, right? And of course, this project is a mixture of slice of life, imaginative, creative, and also in real life, which is responsibilities, activities, finance, relationships, all that stuff. So the first thing I'll mention, this is a bit comedic, but I just took a shit for 3 times in a row in the past 5 hours. Yeah, and all of them were massive shits. So I don't know what else to say about that. I just did not expect, let me put the light down, myself to always use the washroom 3 times like that. And so that really tells me that in fact I was sick, and I'm still sick to a degree. I don't know when it will disappear. I still hear a little bit of that ringing. It's a lot better now for some reason. I think maybe it's because I swallowed some of the phlegm over the past couple hours. But other things have happened aside from using the washroom like crazy. Having a lot of bowel movements because once again, while we're podcasting, I probably shouldn't be cussing, otherwise it'll filter or censor my episode. So in the past actually hour or two, I've actually had to do some more stuff that I didn't. I thought this video, I mentioned in the previous podcast video, that I was going to cover physical items like groceries, and we will in this video, in this podcast, but there's more administrative stuff, more emails, more finance that I didn't foresee myself taking care of at the moment, which I did. So that's actually what you see on the right hand side once again. So we're here with the same scene but with different windows. On the right hand side again, 2 windows, 2 displays, because we have more business and finance and correspondence. So on the top there, the comments are probably blocking the way. I finally managed to make the chat work, and all it took was to basically turn off and restart OBS. So that's great. Restart OBS Studio and everything would work fine. I wish I had done that sooner. So let's just mute, let's not mute it, but make it invisible. Perfect. And what you see there is the cloud drive that I spoke about on the alternative account, created to store some extra files that I'm actually running low on space. But I mean, aside from that, I just needed another account. So this is not actually the main highlight. You do see though, however, at the very middle there, next to the video, there's actually something along the lines of a Word document. So there's some information there that I felt was also important that I put away. But I can largely, for the most part, just log out and close this. Now, I'm not going to log, well, I can log it right now. So I'm going to, by actually pausing the video, so give me a moment. And unpause, perfect. So I love the feature to be able to pause the video, pause the recording in the middle of it running. Anyways, so we have now 2 tabs. So we just closed off the Google Drive. Now here's some extra stuff, right, that I thought I did not anticipate. So what ended up happening, if I just pull up my phone right now, I showcase my phone on the video right here. So my phone, as I was sleeping and resting for the past 12 to 16 hours, because once again, I felt sick to the bone with that crunchiness inside my ear from the probably ruptured, perforated tympani membrane, basically your eardrum, or an ear infection. I was also sifting through my emails, right? Because I haven't been checking my emails, and I know that there's some important stuff there probably eventually is going to show up, and there was. So there's 2 pieces of correspondence that I received, both of which we'll cover here. So the first one is related to this tab that you see on the very top, which is Usana Health Sciences. Again, sponsorship, right? I mean, this is actually my own business. So for nutritionals, for those of you who are heavily science and research oriented, focused on Dr. David Sinclair and Dr. Andrew Huberman's work on the senescence, or as you call, anti-aging. I wouldn't call it that, because that kind of presumes there's some sort of treatment. It's more about maintaining and supporting your organ systems and health through these sorts of supplements, such as Usana Health Sciences, which is one of our patents focuses specifically on that. So we have multiple markets, more than 27 markets and so on and so forth, more than 4,000 athletes, many of which are Olympic gold medal winners. But again, you can find all that here. And the reason why we have this being mentioned isn't, it's not for sponsorship purposes, although the links are in the description. So it's interesting that I can sort of tie that in right now. But basically what we have here is me trying to, change my payment settings. So one of my payment settings, I believe it was either my debit or my credit, and I'm not going to say which or whatever, but one of them had expired and I had received a new card instead. But I didn't update the new account, I didn't update the new number. So obviously there were some issues, and that's why I received an email. So I received an email directly from Usana CSR customer service. They sent an email to me, and they even tried to call me, but I was asleep because I was sick to the bone again, right? Which is a shame, but because of missed a call, right? It means that basically I didn't process the change fast enough. I should have picked it up yesterday. In fact, there was a phone call yesterday. So needless to say, I went online over to my account and I basically edited out the old card and added the new card instead. So that's why we have these two tabs here open. But you can see that there's also some stuff that's related to promotional items that they're running right now. I believe it looks like it's covering Mother's Day stuff. So anyways, spoiler, luxurious skincare. We do have a skincare line, Celavive. But again, I'm mostly focused on the nutritionals because I'm a very STEM-oriented person, and I believe that's where the most benefit you're going to receive from this is. But of course, different people have different needs and different wants. Sometimes people just want to look better, in which case we do have a healthy skin line products that are, Celavive. Anyways, I'm not going to go into it. If you want to learn more, you can just check the website itself. That's usana.com or askthescientist.com for the blog. So I just closed the entire browser. Don't really want to cover any further on that topic. Let's move on to the other piece of correspondence. So tomorrow I am going to have to, by the way, my phone again right here. I'm going to have to call them. I have to call CSR and make sure that the automatic order runs. It's very important because only by purchasing on a monthly basis a certain amount of volume or product volume will I maintain a certain status that I worked really hard for, okay, in order to increase or boost a certain type of commission, okay? It's not something that I'm benefiting from right now, so to speak, but it's something that is significant enough that I should keep it for the future. So I definitely have to get back on that, call them back tomorrow and make sure that the auto order follows through. So phone calls, business, email. Okay, next. This is also from email. I received correspondence here, and you can see I'm making use of the privacy graphic right here, so you can't see fully what it says. Specifically the title and the email address. Right, obviously we don't want to divulge any private or confidential information. Okay, but I will read a little bit here. So this has a little bit to do with basically I have plenty of good friends actually at a long-term senior home that I volunteered at, and it's for over the long term that I will be volunteering at this long-term senior home. Ironically, pun intended. Not intended, but And I divulged a little bit about the situation after I received a call a month ago, from a new coordinator who was hired, and I have not met him because of course obviously during the pandemic COVID struck and volunteering services were shut down temporarily. So I didn't meet this new coordinator. They reached out to me and asked if I could take on new clients because I speak a specific language that some of the clients in this housing center speak also. One that is more rare as of the past decade due to a flooding of immigrants speaking a different dialect, so to speak. So I told him a little bit of the situation. I said, I might be able to take on a new client, but it's not likely given the current situation. And, it was relevant enough that I had to divulge specifically the severity of the situation. And so he understood. And he's been waiting patiently for me to say, hey, the issue's resolved, but of course the issue is not resolved yet. So he reached out to me, and I'm very thankful to him, as well as to my mentor and the support group that I have there. It's one of these moments that reminds you that how many good people you have in your life, right? Because at the end of the day, I did not expect this. I didn't know I did not know this would pop up in my email address today. So I'm really grateful for their concern. And they've asked me if there's anything that they can do, and to which I have replied some general stuff here that I'm going to read through a little bit of it, but not too much. But I don't believe there's much that you can do, and I don't think that there should be anything that you can do. And so first of all, my application is looking like it's not going to be very successful anyways, with a particular government, 3 months maximum. I'm not going to go too deep into that. But long story short, if it's not going to work very well, panel very well with the government and other more specialized crisis services, what use is going to be for an organization such as yourselves, which is focused more on long-term housing for seniors, right? But on top of that, maybe this is a little bit of survivor's guilt, but I would say that, and I've been informed of this from other caseworkers, but personally I believe that even still, the action, discipline, and responsibility and duty lies mostly on me to develop a plan and resolve my own problems by myself individually. So I go on further a little bit down here to elaborate that, of course, I am aware that it's okay and it's acceptable to seek help and ask for help. That's something that for a long time I didn't do, because I was manipulated and guilt tripped and gaslighted and all that, and on and on. But and that lasted decades. But I recognize now from professionals that that's not the case for me to have to do everything myself. And so I tell him this. I explain to this situation that I would still like to be independent, because at the end of the day, I never did like or appreciate the perspective of placing the blame on everybody else. And that's something that I used to observe a lot when I was growing up, and I tried not to do that. But I just ended up venturing into the opposite extreme. So I developed a mindset to take care of the response myself, trying to be opposite, trying to be a role model. Because I was wrong, and it's healthy to seek help, I'm reminded. Okay. Yeah, and then I go down further and say, thank you deeply for your concern and offer for support. So this is where I basically allude to the fact that, this doesn't change what I personally believe to be my own responsibility, and that I'm not intending in any way to further spread this knowledge, because at the end of the day, while I do have a large group of colleagues, volunteers, and friends who are clearly, as he mentions, concerned now, and I didn't think there would be this sort of impact. I'm grateful for them caring, but I'm also concerned because I don't want them to be concerned about me. That's kind of, it's kind of backwards, right? It's like, we all have problems. We all have all sorts of difficult situations we face, and I don't really want to place any more negativity in their lives any more than they should on mine, right? It's just not quite fair. We're all busy with all sorts of different obligations. So that's how I sort of wrap up the very last bit of the email. I say thank you deeply for your concern and offer for support. For the few staff or volunteers who are already aware, please let them know that I can manage on my own. Put any of their concerns to rest, because we all have enough problems on our own. I don't intend on placing any more on. Yeah, basically what I said. So I'll keep you updated on any relevant changes moving forward. Kind regards. And that's the end of that email. A very important email. One day I didn't think I would be writing today. But I am blessed and grateful and thankful to have this many people actually care that I, has sort of fallen out of focus from my sights. It's ironic because for the past, 15 years, I've been sort of volunteering and trying to help them out of my goodwill. A lot of the seniors there unconditionally, really, because I just cared. And now it's kind of coming back full circle. And it doesn't always end up like that, life isn't always fair, right? Usually it's unfair. So I have no expectations and try not to disappoint myself for that. Anyways, that's what that's all about. So I'm going to close this email and close the address. Now, something else that popped up that's particularly important was an email from the government, but this one's relating to training and education. So I've been seeking out a program right now that is offering some sort of service to train people who would like to get a head start into a new field. So for example, administrative work, I'm interested in doing that. Field work, but it's all related to working even for the government themselves. And I wanted to get an application and see how I could register. Unfortunately, I have apparently missed both workshops. And largely, it's funny because one of it was, because of the situation I'm in right now. But then the other part was just because I was also sick. So I missed both workshops for varying reasons, and I'm particularly disappointed with myself about this. I feel like this is sort of my failure in part. So that's that. That's a little depressing, but there's still stuff I can do. So what I can do is, first of all, I can go back to the email where I registered, and I can send a reply and ask them if they have a copy of the webinar that I can view on my own time. I know it's very unlikely because whenever the government runs these sorts of programs, it always has to be in person or has to be during the webinar. They will not pre-record it and send it to other people. However, maybe because I have registered for it, they will be a little bit more lenient on that front end, or at the very least, they can tell me when the next date. So that's something I can ask them. I can ask them, even if you can't send me the webinar link, maybe you can send me any plans for the future trainings to be repeated, because I would be interested in doing that. And the jobs that they're vying for related to the government are coming in the next 3 months. So I had better get the ball rolling. I want to definitely get in on that, particularly because it involves training, and I want to learn some new skills, of course. Now, on top of this, what I'd like to do is, I think that kind of covers everything on the browser tabs. So I'm looking at the time here, it's 17 minutes in, and we have a little bit of time. So I can cover, in fact, let's head over to the backdrop scene, and I'm going to close, or not close, but make invisible the browser as well as the border. All right, so what I can showcase now, so this is particularly important. We have the wallet. Okay, obviously you can't see the cards, so I'm not going to show you the cards, man. That's kind of silly. And then we have the phone here. So the wallet's important because for Usana Health Sciences, like I said, I was supposed to change my debit or credit or whatever. And it was inside the wallet, so needless to say, I had to pull it out. I have a new card, right? So I switched the card. Re-entered the new details for the credentials, financial information, obviously not going to detail any further. So now I have to put the wallet back into the pair of pants I'm going to wear when I leave. And I'm feeling better because I went to take a shit 3 times, by the way. I'm feeling a lot more healthy now. Oh, I also did some fitness, like I haven't done that in a while. But after getting rid of all that stuff in my gut, and then also right now my left ear is feeling a lot better too. Maybe it's just less inflammation. I did my 4th day, of actual calisthenics, but just very few exercises. It wasn't anything rigorous. You can just think of like some levitation crunches, some back lifts, some side planks, some push-ups, some dips, and that's about it. Next, so the phone. This is this phone here. Right, this was pulled out because I have 2 phones, and I had used, as I mentioned in my previous video and at the very beginning of this video very briefly, that in order to get into my alternate account on, say, for example, you have Google Drive or Dropbox or Microsoft Office, you would use, and Google has a specific problem. For example, if you have Google Chrome, you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about, where if you're logged into multiple accounts, you can't log out of a single one by themselves. You have to log out of all of the accounts, right? So basically, I had found a workaround that I've been looking for years now, and it was very simple. It turns out that as long as your account has, for example, multiple devices. It's logged in on multiple different devices, and you have access to all those devices. You can just force log by going to the security and accounts manager menu and check all the Windows sessions, all the operating devices that have your account logged in, and just kick yourself off of whichever device you don't want it on by going to on a different device and logging into security manager. So in this case, I went into the phone, right, and I kicked myself off from the laptop. So that's how that works. And I wish I had known this 3-4 years ago. I remember specifically Googling this answer, and no one seemed to have a good answer for this. That's something I could probably post as a good answer on Quora right now if I ever want to. Okay. Now let's cover some physical stuff and groceries. The last item here that's not grocery is this Parkside garden hacksaw that, again, for security purposes. But anyways, I fell down and I had to wash it. So that took some time as well, but it was very brief. Alright, so let's cover the food here. I'm going to move the smalling camera to the side here. My apologies, this is going to be a bit of a long video. It's a podcast. It's not going to be the 20 minutes standard that I usually aim for, but maybe about 25. But okay, so let's kind of wrap this up so that we can finally get to the next podcast, which is focused on podcasting, right? The irony. So we bought some food that is healthy, and most of it is really not that healthy. It was largely because I was just kind of coping, honestly. So we have some like Cheeto, like mock mimicry type stuff, except these are like fiery hot Cheetos. And inside, however, is a banana peel. And I managed to dust off some crap from that as well. So it's not good at all. It's just something that I haven't eaten in a long time, and I just felt like trying it out. There's also another bag. These ones are not potatoes, but they're like actual chips. One's black pepper, and the other one is like some sort of red chili spice. So that's that. Alright, so but we do have bananas, so that's a decent positive. And not only do we have bananas, but the bananas we went and bought something at McDonald's that was just some apple pies. But every time you go to the vending machine, sorry, not the vending machine, the payment machine, processing machine, you can also get some of these little jars of peanut butter. Not jars, but packets of peanut butter for free. So peanut butter and bananas, fairly good, right? Polyunsaturated fats, plenty of potassium, low on sodium, that kind of stuff. Plenty of fiber, that's good. Unlike these bags of like chips and stuff. So what else do we have that's also garbage? We have also this, okay, we have several of these chopsticks here, disposable, throw into trash. We also have more utensil-like stuff here. These are like plastic wrapper from Chinese chopsticks I purchased, disposable, as well as a receipt. So what we can do is that's all trash as well, and a paper napkin, and a little wrapper here that was connected and ripped off from Joe's Tasty Travel Snack Mix. And this is basically something that's a midway between something healthy and something that's not healthy. So it's a trail mix that has maybe too much sodium for sure, 380 milligrams, but it has 3 grams of fiber, and it's low on saturated fat, but overall it does have a little too much fat. The most important part is that it has a lot of protein, so that I can take this with the supplements that are using. Once again, it's a little bit like coping, right? It's not really what you're supposed to do if you want to be healthy. Next thing we have here also is a bag of dried sliced mangoes, dried mango slices. These are definitely not healthy because they are all sugar. When you talk about dried fruits, they sound healthy, but it's all sugar, so I would say it's not. And inside here is another packet of that syrup, not just the peanut butter that we received from McDonald's, but also syrup. So what I can do is I can use this bag and toss in the utensils, the napkin, the chopsticks wrapper inside, right? It's all garbage. Same thing with the disposable utensils, the chopsticks themselves, as well as the receipt. So all the garbage inside this bag, and then I can take this, the bag with the Cheetos that I finished, the banana peel, and all this trash, and stick it all in one. So bag within a bag within a bag. And in fact, I can also stick this too. These are the chips. So just stick it all there. We'll do it, you know what, once the video's over. This doesn't make a whole lot of sense right now. The last thing we have to show, well, last couple things. I'm getting a little tired. That's just too much for a single video. Joe's Tasty Travels Punjabi mix. Again, high on protein, 5 grams protein per 50. Decent amount of fiber as well, 3 grams. Pretty low in saturated fat, okay. But again, it's not good because it has too much sodium. And this one's probably by far the most healthy of all the little snack mixes that we have there. These are dried spicy plantain chips. So basically banana chips. And 4 grams of fiber per 50. Again, just coping. But very low sodium, 40 milligrams. And 250 milligrams of potassium. Okay. But as usual with bananas or plantains is that they have a lot of saturated fat. So it's all just not, it's all subpar food at the end of the day. Last 2 items, and I'm very happy to be almost done this. Oh, there's also a canister of coconut water, but I can't reach it without risking spilling it, but it's all right, it's not a big deal. We have this drink here, Powerade Zero. The first time I tried their fruit punch flavor, it's because I don't actually like fruit punch flavor. I usually get the grape one or whatever. But it is red and flashy, so works well with projects. And then the last thing we have here is some Dentyne. So this one is actually not a purchase. This is something, a giveaway. Someone dear to me. So someone asked for a packet of gum, and you know, just offer a packet of gum because they didn't want to wear a mask and have. If you guys ever put on the masks, which I don't think anybody wears masks nowadays, but if you decide to go into, say, a medical office, a medical setting, for example, like a dentist's office, you know, optometrist's office, a physiologist, and orthopedic, they always ask you to wear a mask because of vulnerable persons and other patients who may be sensitive to respiratory illness. So this person had to wear a mask, and basically he's like, "Hey buddy, can you get me like one of these packets of video getting gum?" I said I do have gum, but unfortunately the gum here packet is quite old. I think I don't think it's expired. I don't think gum has an expiry date anyways, but that's that. So it's Dentyne Ice. So this is something that we will also be getting rid of. I've been trying to use it up, but I just don't have enough opportunity to use that one up either. Oh, and last thing, I can actually, before we end this, let's finally close the coconut water. I can reach it. That covered all the drinks and all the food. So Young Coconut Drink, Leaper brand. And again, for the fiber, and because it has low sugar, so coconut water. And this is heavy cope, because right here I'm supposed to have a canister of water, but I usually drink from, but it's totally emptied out because I spent the entire day yesterday inside this room, almost half dead because of the ear infection. Okay, but I'm feeling a lot better now, after clearing all that gunk, all that shit inside my ear and inside my body, and getting a bit of a workout. Okay, so I think that's it. I can see it's almost 30 minutes. This is definitely too long of a video compared to what I usually do, or our podcast. But thanks for tuning in, and I'm going to try, this is going to be a real challenge. I have to try to fit all these topics into a single title. I'm not supposed to do that. I'm supposed to bring it up to, like, it should be 2 15-minute videos, not one 30-minute video with an extra long title. But you know, it is what it is. I didn't want to make another video because then I had to do more editing, uploading. I want to really get over to the podcasting stuff. That's been itching me. We cut down from 490 tabs down to 370, and I'm trying to get down below 300 now. Because of this, you know, all this stuff here on the side, like the correspondence and, you know, emails and the business and relations, and then this disease, this illness. and the groceries and stuff like that. This just kind of got in the way. But it's still part of the project and it's still part of life. So we're covering it just as is because we want to be real and authentic on this project. And that's what this is. Thank you for tuning in to Reshift. Feel free to leave, any relatable experiences here. What have you bought? Are you still buying things? Like, I hope you're not buying the kind of junk food that I'm buying right now. I really don't. You should be able to do better. But maybe if you're a broke college student, maybe that's what you're doing still. In addition, definitely if you have a good support group, feel free to chime in and show some blessings. If you want to share a little bit about who's dear to you and how you have like great friends and a great support group. Definitely my group at the seniors home has been nothing short but fantastic throughout the years. And I was surprised very pleasantly to see that they wanted to support me here. So I'm very grateful. And it's always nice to reflect on the blessings that you have, right? Every day. Try to do it every day. Whenever you can. So that's it. And or if there's anything else you want to talk about or discuss, feel free to do so. So leave that in the comments, and you know that I always want to hear what you guys have to say. So thanks for tuning in, and I'm signing out. I'll see you guys in the next one. We're gonna cover podcasting, and it seems like the next one's probably gonna be like TuneIn, the platform TuneIn or something like that. See you there. Peace.